So there is a question about the laws of Nida, the purity of the family. So before I'm gonna go for the question, I want to give like the basic understandings that whoever doesn't have those basic understanding will be in the same page with us. In the Jewish law for marriage, so there is a prohibition for the couple to have relationship when the woman have her period, but not only the time of the period itself, also 7 days afterwards. So those 7 days are called Sheva Nekim, 7 clean days that the woman have to count until she can go to the mikveh to immerse herself in a certain kind of a pool of rainwater, and then she's pure to be with her husband. So there is many halachot of Nida, and I have on my YouTube channel many of those halachot. We went through basically, I think most, if not all, of the Shulchan Aruch of halachot Nida, so you can find it all there. But right now the question is about a woman that she's in very early stages of being interested in the Jewish law. She's Jewish, but until now she was living secular life, and now she wants to get married, and her husband, the groom, the guy that she wants to marry, he is religious, so she wants to do whatever is necessary to do, but just the minimum. So the question is, what is the minimum? What should be the instructions for a couple that they are not in a level to keep all of the halachot of Nida properly? Okay, but let's say, okay, there's a lot to discuss around those subjects, and really it's not something that should be like a public video like I'm doing now. It is more of individual instructions for every individual. But so if you have someone, rabbi, that you can speak with yourself, that's good, because it's something that is very fine nuances according to the husband, according to the wife, and many different situations. But the basic understanding is that we have to make sure that the period stopped totally, and then she can start to count the 7 clean days. So to make that differentiation between the time of the period and the time of the 7 clean days, there is something in the middle between them that is called hefsek tara, to stop the time of the period for the purpose of the purity, of the time of the purity, which is the 7 clean days, and then the mikveh, and then they can be together. So that is something that is basically checking that the period is finished. And for some ladies, it is very embarrassing, because if they don't know how to do it themselves, so they have to ask for help, and it's embarrassing for them, so they don't want to do it because they're too embarrassed. So basically the answer is, obviously, I understand the embarrassment, obviously, but it's like when you need to go to the doctor. So you need to go to the doctor, so you go to the doctor, even though it's embarrassing. But if that's what you need to do, so that's what you need to do. But basically, there is a good possibility that no one else will have to be involved with that. If the woman knows what she needs to do, and she's healthy in the younger ages, she's not old, this usually shouldn't be a problem, shouldn't be a question. But many times there is. So the woman that she checks herself with a piece of cloth, and there's a stain there, and she doesn't know if it's blood or it's not blood, so she have to take this piece of cloth to the rabbi to ask if it's blood or not blood. And there is rabbis that this is their expertise, that they're looking on those little pieces of cloth and stains on them, and they have to say if it is blood, so she have to wait and to check again tomorrow if it's clean, and if it's not blood, so the next day will be the first day of the 7 clean days. So when there's no question, when the cloth is clean, so there's no question, so she doesn't need to go to the rabbi. If the stain is clear and it's blood, so she doesn't have to go to the rabbi because she knows she have to try again later on to the same day or the next day, whatever it is. But sometimes there is questions, there is something that it's hard to say if it is blood or it's not blood, and then you have to go to get over the embarrassment and to go to the rabbi. So usually the woman don't go to the rabbi herself. It's possible, but usually she doesn't go herself. Usually she will send it with the husband. There is many places that the rabbi is putting like a mailbox that people put like an envelope, and inside of the envelope there is like the piece of cloth and a phone number, and he looks on the cloth and he calls the phone number and he says pure or not pure, and he doesn't know who it is, so it's less of embarrassment. Okay, so there is different ways of how to deal with it, and again it's very, very individual according to the situation, according to the people, but there is ways. But for sure, there's no doubt about it that sometimes, many times in our life, there is embarrassing situations that we have to get over the embarrassment and do whatever it is that we need to do. And it's definitely worth it to get over the embarrassment for the sake of having a pure family life. It is very, very high level of value, important, very, very much. I cannot say how value it has. So it's not worth it to do the sin of living without purity because of embarrassment. Okay? The embarrassment that a person that didn't keep those laws will have in the world to come will be much greater, much greater, million times greater than the embarrassment that you have to go through in this world for asking a question about the cloth with the stain. So I know that I didn't really cover the subject and there's many more questions, but we'll leave it here with that. Thank you very much.